Let the record reflect, we do have a quorum for Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. We'll run down to presentations. A presentation by Deb Swearingen representing Willow Creek Homeowners Association. Deb, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. Roll call again. Mayor Sykes, Councilwoman Garvey, Councilman Brennan, Councilwoman Workala, and Councilman Harjo. My name is Deb Swearingen, and I live at 1995 East Gate North, number 24, here in Mountain Home. I'm here today representing Willow Creek Homeowners Association. Willow Creek Drive is located directly across the street from the golf course entrance on East Gate North. The subdivision was platted and recorded with CC&Rs and bylaws in 1985, so it's been a while. Our association has been recorded as a nonprofit corporation with the state of Idaho since 1987. We send in a yearly financial report and list of officers and board members. I believe our association is pretty unique for Mountain Home, given that it's been in existence for so long, and we maintain a lot of common area. You know, just the way it's set up, it is a private drive, so we don't have a lot of those either. Willow Creek has always had city water and sewer, but after 40 years, the sewer manhole has settled and sunk along with the concrete drive that surrounds that manhole in the middle of our drive toward East Gate. Our president, Jeff Bate, made an inquiry to the city about our situation and was directed to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Chris Curtis, who I want to thank very much for, he has put in a lot of time and effort and kind of research on this, and also Tiffany has helped us a lot, so thank you both very much. After doing some research, Mr. Curtis found that our water and sewer lines were never dedicated to the city upon completion, which my understanding now is that that usually is what takes place. This was unknown to any of the residents at Willow Creek. We did not know that was the situation. I would assume, and only assume, maybe part of that was because it is a private drive. So this brings me to the council to respectfully request your consideration to accept dedication of Willow Creek Homeowners Association's water and sewer lines into the city inventory. I do understand that under the supervision of Mr. Curtis, the sewer line was flushed and scoped and found to be in good working order. Any questions, I'm sure he could answer those in regards to that. I believe that in your packet, you've been provided with a letter from the association stating our request, a bit of history about the association, a plat of the subdivision, and a plat showing the location of the water sewer lines as they lie on the property. We understand that there are items to be worked out before our request can actually be acted upon, but we would like to work in every way possible to reach an agreement that's acceptable to both the city and our residents. We understand that we'd be responsible for some road repair around the sewer cap. We do have some funds in reserve that we could put toward those costs. We also understand that acceptance would also require either dedication of the road to the city or granting a utility easement for the work on the sewer cap and any future maintenance needs that might come up. Our situation is not currently an emergency. Our association just wants to be prepared for the stated need that we're addressing today and any future situations that might come up. Our goal, like yours, is to continue to provide safe water and sewer and a happy place for our residents to live. And I truly appreciate your thoughts and considerations in this matter, and grateful for all that you do for everyone in the Mountain Home community. Are there any questions that you might have?
There's a question for you. What's the typical safe lifespan of the sewer line?
That's kind of all over the place. So higher use, last time, this one 50, 60 years before we'll see any like major problems with it. Being that that being based on the fact that it was installed correctly, compactions were done correctly around it. There's a lot of factors that go in. We very rarely see failures, catastrophic failures on smaller areas like this, but we can't account for you know, the surrounding trees, root incursion, that kind of stuff, and like I said, we don't know. This particular line, there was never pressure tests done when they constructed it, so we don't know if the line truly holds the pressure required. Yeah, so there's a lot of factors. The terrible answer is I can't give you a number.
If I understand correctly though, this particular line is almost 40 years old.
Yes, that would be correct.
That's all.
Councilwoman Wolfett?
So you said something's concaving in, like the ground?
Well,
or-
I mean, after, we have it in our city streets, after 40 years, it settles and they start to sink a bit if you drive around, and that's what's happened. We have a manhole, there are two manholes for sewer on the property, one at the front toward East 8 and one at the back. The one toward East 8, this ground has settled, so the concrete has settled, and with it, the manhole over that. So I believe what needs to be done is to have that concrete removed around it, raise the manhole, and then compact and repair the concrete that's surrounding it. I don't think there's a problem with the actual line, it's just, we wanna take care of that so we don't have a problem in the future with it.
So you're just, asking for us, for the city to have ownership of the existing water lines, not to repair that, sunken?
Well, no, we understand that we would probably be required to do the repair to the street, you know, taking the concrete out, repairing the street. I don't know what it takes to raise the manhole, if you add something to, I'm not an engineer and I don't, you know, I have a degree in finance, I don't know that stuff. So I don't know what would be involved with that, but I do know that we would have some costs, and we don't really know. There are, like I say, there are a lot of things that need to be worked out on this, as far as, you know, a cost for it. Of course, what you're looking at, obviously, is the condition of the sewer and city lines, and, you know, how they would be repaired in the future if we had a problem. But I will remind you that the residents have been paying property taxes for over 40 years on the place, a lot of them. So, it's not like, I mean, we are asking respectfully that you would consider this, you know, absolutely, and we're just trying to reach, we just are trying to plan for our future of that subdivision.
Councilman Bryan?
Is there, as I look at the map here, I'm not sure where the actual property line is between the residential units in the back and that commercial property that sits up front.
There's an easement,
That's basically my question. Is there a legal easement where the sewer line crosses underneath that commercial property's parking lot?
it does not cross under their parking lot, I don't believe. You've got it in mind.
That's grass. Oh, what's it? What's that on? Not grass. Car park is there.
Here's what she's talking about. Here's the one, here's the street. The parking lot.
I see what I do see what you're talking about.
I know where it's at. It goes along here, right here, and it cuts.
It goes to the right of, as you're going into the subdivision, it goes to the right of that property, of that drive.
Right.
So actually answer your question,
It does go
I-
right there.
I don't know.
It does.
That's it's a parking lot.
But that is,
Is there an easement?
But we may not know, I understand what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. That building was, the racket club, ball club, at that time, when it was all kind of done together. That's something that we would have to find out.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
sorry I didn't say that before. It is pretty common that sewer lines, well, common in the 80s and even 90s. If you look at the building, the old Airman Pond, they had to go through the sewer line and go into backyards of people. So this is pretty common. The only time this parking lot would be affected is if they had to dig up their entire sewer line from here to here, which then this parking lot, yes, would be affected, but
Yeah, and if there's not a legal easement,
You can't do that.
then we wouldn't touch this
Right.
request.
That's something that we would have to look into.
yeah.
That's something we would have to look into.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Tiff.
I found some easement documents and agreements that were signed back in 1984 and 85 when the road was constructed of 8th Street, when the city redid the curb, gutter, and sidewalk because the elevation of the road didn't meet their subdivision, and we had to have agreements to gain access into the properties, and that included the racquetball court at that point.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany.
So I don't believe there is an easement document, cause they were all written agreements to enter on the property to do maintenance.
I know 8th Street, we should have 20-foot right-of-way easements, that's how we were able to get into jail too. Okay. So that's probably 20 feet.
But I can keep, I did some digging yesterday just to
Thank you.
see. So,
Anything else?
Council, anything, else for Deb? All right, Deb, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you guys very much, appreciate it.
Alrighty, we'll run down to recognize the person in the audience. Would anybody like to get up and speak? Come down, sir. Or, ma'am.
Oh,
I'm Carol Cummings, and I live at 715 Southwest Tanner Street, original owner, 15 years. And that says box for the fiber optics was placed at the corner of my property, and I did not sign anything authorizing that.
What was the address, I'm sorry?
715.
Okay.
So my question is, can it be removed? I do not want fiber optics myself. I've had 2 or 3 people come to my home, talk to me about it, and I was adamant, absolutely not, I do not want it. And I have sat on planning and zoning committee in a Elmore County city several years ago. So I'd like this to be considered and to be removed.
Okay.
Okay? So will I hear something back from city council? Okay,
Or don't say it on, just give Tiff your number and I'll
okay,
take care of it. I'll call you.
okay.
Or I'll call you.
oh, it's right on there. I just said all their names. If not, my book is.
Be my landline.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Sir?
No, I know you don't.
I'm not sure where she, that's interesting. I don't, I'd like some clarification on that, I'm not sure. Is the apartments across from the golf course, across from the cemetery? The old, what was it, used to be a, place where you could, if you were unemployed or whatever, is it that place, or is it that branch between the police station, sheriff's station?
Behind that building.
Behind that building back in there?
So
That old farmhouse?
Go ahead, Don.
Anyway, I was just wondering whether that, you should have manhole sitting on top of it. There's a concrete ring sitting on top of a manhole, the whole thing really has to settle. It's a big old barrel. say, French drain or something with a grate sitting on top of it or something. Seeping water or manhole, usually just asphalt or something will break away from it, but the manhole, the iron doesn't really go anywhere. You just tear out, run it and replace whatever. That's why I was wondering if it's behind the apartments there, they would finish across from the entrance there, kind of from the cemetery. I didn't understand exactly where she was talking from. I was just wanting some clarification with what kind of manhole we're talking about or whatever. You know, she's a cell, dirt around them and then, but let the concrete dirt around or the asphalt, maybe sealed or whatever around it. That's pretty much what I got to say about it. For this one anyway. Thank you.
Brendan McCarthy. Come here tonight on behalf of the Mountain Home Lions Club. On August 17th, we had our first annual, hopefully annual, Lions Man Kids Triathlon. And I want to give a huge shout out to the fire department and Parks and Recs. Brian with the fire department was able to come out with fire truck, which kids loved and everything. It's part of our surprise water event and everything, so they love that. So we really want to give them a huge shout out for that. And then also Parks and Recs with Dennis. They were amazing with helping registration and everything. It was just really great to have that support from the city and those entities. So, just not to stir the pot here tonight, just here to say thank you to those agencies and all of them. So, thank you again. Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's run down to consent agenda. Council, is there anything on the consent agenda that you'd like to pull, talk about a little? Oh, sorry, good call, good catch. Got so much handwriting here. Conflict of interest declaration, as any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on this city's action. If so, please set forth nature of content. Councilwoman Whipple?
Yeah, Missy Pierce reached out to me and she had a question regarding J and K on the consent agenda.
Councilman Brennan?
On item H, I'd like to ask the council permission to add one sentence to that agreement. Page numbers aren't numbered. Oh, page 7, sorry. Page 7, under paragraph 4.9. Currently says the director of instruction and merchandising desires to and shall maintain the power utility that training center building shown in exhibit B. What I'd like to add is that that director must also sign a revocable agreement for use of the building prior to initial use. And Mr. Gomez knows that that revocable agreement will be coming just like we passed in our last council meeting with Snow Cone Shop.
So council, with that, is there any issues with adding that through interlineation?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Whipple?
Okay, plan again, where you at?
4.9, the bottom of page 7, near the bottom of page
I'm gonna
7.
read it again.
The director must also sign a revocable agreement for use of the building prior to initial use. Those will be presented at the same time.
No, because you all would have to approve that license agreement during your next meeting.
Okay.
I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, it doesn't want to take effect until October 1st anyway, so. Alright.
So council, good with that? else on the consent agenda that, I'll talk about? Full, okay, Councilman Brennan?
Could I pull item Q, please?
For item, G, Police Chief Thompson, do you think, your department would have any interest in having a retirement ceremony for Nero? I know he couldn't be here today.
The handler has indicated his interest not to.
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
Chief, what's the reason he doesn't wanna like present the dog for the council or the city for that matter? Been with us for so long.
I think he may want a quiet ceremony at the PD with the PD family. He's just a little reticent with a lot of publicity. Because without speaking directly for him, I know that his family will be present, and there's some concern on his part about family publicity.
Like, publicity over like media sources or can we do a non-media source ceremony?
That may be a potential, but again, that's something I have to clear with him, because as I said, he's a little reticent about doing something publicly with the dog with his family present.
Is that a drug dog?
Yes,
They gonna train a new one
Okay.
now?
not right away.
That's what I thought.
Anything else, council?
No, great.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda calling, Q?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, making modifications or delineation to the, item G as requested and.
No, H.
Or excuse me, H, sorry. And pulling Q for discussion in new business.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Come back to me.
Yep. Councilwoman Worthley? Councilman Harjo? Brennan?
Aye. Oh, some comments later.
Really quick, on old business, there is no old business, but I just have to ask in this meeting. Were you able to get the auditors, or do we have a meeting scheduled? Did you guys get to talk to the auditors about the irrigation? I know, Paul said it was fine, but what did they say? I forgot to ask, I totally forgot to ask that question because I wasn't there.
Mayor, we've sent the documents, the auditing team recruited a new gentleman, and so Paul and I were able to get on the phone with him, we sent over our ordinances specifically on the availability fees, as well as the presentation on the irrigation measure. He's gonna review all that and bring it back to us,
Okay.
and we haven't heard from him.
And sorry, council, I just wanted to, food for thought. Okay, so we'll have more on that one. I just, some good buddy back there, and I was like, man, I forgot.
I'm just here listening.
All right, we'll run down to new business items removed from consent agenda, and that is Q. And I will let Councilman Brennan take that one.
Tiffany, I hate to put you on the spot. Really, we had this real short conversation, but I think it's important for the record with the budget that we're going into. Why is it really the backflip from OpenGov to Civic Clerk? I mean, I guess maintaining both at the same time for a while.
Well, they're two completely different softwares. I am, as far as the clerk side of things, I operate public records out of OpenGov, and I did that just to streamline it to an electronic format when that software became available to the city. The OpenGov is a process through the building department, and we just kind of used it citywide. It's kind of wonky. I don't believe it's very efficient on the end user. You can ask Rod and Alan and probably Misty who use it often.
No, I can agree that
You
it's
know
not
what I
really
mean?
user friendly. The
Staff
animal
doesn't
dog
like it.
tag thing is a wild mess on there.
So, but this software is not even comparable to that. Like, this is specific for agenda management and our meeting management. So, this software won't even take on any of the roles that OpenGov currently is doing. This is clearly just for streamlined documents. If Chris has something for the city council packet, it comes to me in an electronic database from Civic Plus. I authorize it and can drag it into the software and use it for efficiency. Once those are dropped in, you all have the availability to view that at the time of drop-in. So it could be 10 days prior to our meetings, you can review those documents. The end user, once I hit live, they're published to our website. So I don't have to fulfill public records requests that come in on those. The end user and the public can go see them. It allows for, if you wanna look at a specific topic in the meeting, like you could type in Willow Creek subdivision, and it will take you to the typed documents, like the words comment. It'll take you to where it is in the minutes for the video. It will take you audio. It's very slick in regards to 21st century end user and efficiency for city staff. So
Does it record and transcribe our words up here? Or
it will not it will transcribe words. We'll have to clerically kind of review those to make sure they're done right. As the meeting will progress, I don't have to keep notes on a piece of paper any longer. I can actually make all your motions electronically and track through the items specific so that, again, it'll alleviate a partial staff member from having to listen to the audio of the minute and retype the council packets and that, because we can do the majority of it as I sit here in the meeting.
maybe I misunderstood. Didn't you tell me that it's building department's goal to come over to this and drop?
Eventually,
OpenGov?
correct, Civic Plus is their total platform. They operate other forms of things they can offer. Eventually, the building department would like to draft over into this.
Okay, so Civic Plus is the bigger umbrella, Civic
Correct,
Clerk is
correct.
specific to your
It's
duties.
just, yes,
Okay.
it's just my want, or ask.
And then, I'm not trying to poke the bear, right?
No.
But didn't we approve another staff member to fill like public records requests?
Correct, but that staff member isn't only gonna do that. Currently, right now in the clerk's office sits 2 individuals, that's Daniel and myself. Alexa, the grant writer, she still produces our minutes for me. She helps with licenses as well. So we don't have another body helping do some of our human resource documents. So as we navigate through, we don't have like Daniel and I are your backups to payroll. So we kinda need to get another body training up and learning those roles to help us as we progress forward. So that was the intention of another staff member within that department.
Okay, alright, clear on that. Where's the line item that this is coming out of? What timeframe do you hope to make the purchase? This current fiscal year?
I have funds in the current fiscal year under the Laserfish software upgrade, and this communicates with Laserfish and our document cloud-based storage.
Okay. What's the remaining balance of that line?
Well, I haven't spent any of it, and I didn't bring my budget book in.
Yeah, you're good.
Chris, did you check this out too?
So we have in Public Works, we've checked it out as well. And I've been on all the meetings with Hank and Brenda in the back, and to be very candid with you, I'm the guy that wrote the pet license thing in OpenGov, which is why it's wonky, because I'm not a software writer. The big thing for Public Works that we see this as being appealing is that we don't have to write the permits and the applications anymore. They do that for us. And we'll be able to expand this out to where we'll be able to do inventory tracking. So right now, if you walk in my shop, I've got a bunch of boxes on the shelf, and I've got them on scratch paper, what's in them. We'll be able to input all that kind of stuff, and then we'll be able to do like street cut permits and things like that that we don't currently offer through Civic Plus. It's great. I'm not on their staff, but I love it. It's really cool.
You're not a paid spokesman.
I am not.
What's the duration left of our, I don't know if it's a contract or our agreement with OpenGov?
That's
Yeah, it's 26, March of 26.
March 26th, that ends. Is it probably safe to say at that time, we'll probably try to
Council, to be honest, OpenGov was the first thing that put us into the 21st century. We did everything by paper and email. You had to walk in and fill things out, and not every citizen wants that. They want to be able to do it from a device, on the road, you know, and that's getting there is what we'd like to do too. We do understand that people want to walk in and see our face. We're okay with that, but definitely.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Wilcox?
I like the idea that I'm not trying to just figure this all out within like over the weekend, and then I work Monday and Tuesday. I can't ask you, you know, so if I could look at a document 10 days prior or something and actually do some good research, that'd be beneficial for us as well, making smarter choices on our end if we're more informed as well. So I like that idea, but I have the exact same questions. I had it right here, Daniel, where it says, sorry, Councilman Brennan, where it says explain what it was replacing, if it was, and the budget item, so it is budgeted for that. Do that.
Basically a technology line.
Mayor. Councilman Harjo?
From the software background, the civic platform has so many modules that Public Works, Development Services, Clerk's Office, it's similar in construct software wise to like Microsoft Office and then the various like Word and Excel and PowerPoint modules within. You can kind of mix and match on these things, but the interoperation between those is pretty seamless. And the fact that it has APIs that go talk to things like Laserfish, they'll look at archives back through OpenGov. You can archive out of that. Like say we decide to sunset OpenGov, you can take that archive and it will be fairly seamless in its application through. So everything that's accomplished right now and has been during the duration of OpenGov is still captured. You don't just lose it at that point. So end to end, it's a pretty darn good solution software wise.
So, council, what do you guys want to do?
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I'll make a motion to pass item Q for the Civic Plus purchase.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just gonna ask, similar to our request for other department heads, could we in the future put the request and where the money's coming from for it?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
All right, been motioned and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wilcox?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
All right, we'll run down to ordinances. Action item ordinance 1798 adopting the fiscal year 2025 FY 25 budget.
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I'll make a motion that we suspend the 3 reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Wilcox?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Tiff, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 1798, an ordinance entitled the Annual Appropriation Ordinance for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, appropriating the sum of $84,808,091 to defray the expense and liabilities of the City of Mountain Home for said fiscal year and providing an effective date.
Council, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wilcox?
Aye.
Run down to ordinance number 2, action item ordinance 1799, amending Title 6, Chapter 6 of the Mountain Home City Code.
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I'll make a motion that we suspend the 3 reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey? Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wilcox?
Aye.
Tiff, please read the ordinance. Is this the long one?
Yeah, get ready everyone, I'm sorry.
Oh, my glasses.
No, ordinance 1799. An ordinance of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, amending Title 6, Chapter 6, Mountain Home City Code as follows, amending Section 6-6-1 by amending and adding certain definitions, amending 6-6-2, by changing the name of the city's animal control center to be consistent throughout the chapter, amending 6-6-4 to change reference to the animal control center and provide that the fees be set by resolution of the city, and amending the penalties section, amending section 6-6-5 by amending references to dangerous dogs, adding an impoundment provision for cats, updating references to the animal control center, and providing that fees are set by resolution of the city council, amending 6-6-7 by clarifying references to owners and responsible parties, amending section 6-6-8 by defining at-risk and dangerous dogs and other animals to align with state code, and providing notice and hearing procedures for dangerous or at-risk dogs or other animals, and providing requirements for keeping the same, amending section 6-6-10 to prohibit animals fighting, I can't even say it, exhibitions, thank you, amending section 6-6-11 by clearly defining animal cruelty and to provide penalty, amending section 6-6-12 to specify infraction and misdemeanor animal nuisances and to clearly define the same, amending section 6-6-13 to align with penalties with state code and adding a code reference, amending section 6-6-14 by adding and reference to city code, amending section 6-6-15 by amending a penalty section, amending 6-6-17 to limit the length and permitted snakes, adding section 6-6-18 to be a new section prohibiting the sale of commercial bred dogs and cats in retail stores, renumbering the former section 6-6-18 to 6-6-19, renumbering the former section of 6-6-19 to 6-6-20, renumbering the former section 6-6-20 to 6-6-21, and amending it by changing the penalty reference, renumbering section 6-6-21 to 6-6-22, providing for servability and providing an effective date.
Council, you've heard that read. You want it reread?
Yeah. They don't want it reread.
Council, you've heard the ordinance read. You wish it to pass. Councilman Harjo.
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilwoman Whipple.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
All right. Good job, Tim.
Oh.
All right. Council, what do you got? I'll come.
There.
Councilman Brennan.
I think we typically do it every year, but could we just, on the record, maybe call the person to go to just kind of state why there's the $84 million budget, like why it's so much bigger as far as the typical
Where, oh, you want your, no, these.
There's one more page. This one, I got it right here. I think this was kind of, gone over previously. If you look at your FY '23 and your FY '24, proposed, in FY '25, you can see under operating funds, there's an increase for grants. Your biggest one's gonna be your enterprise funds, the water maintenance fund and the wastewater maintenance fund. If you run your finger across, you'll see last year we had 6 million requested in wastewater maintenance. This year we have 15 million, but that's based on grants. Your major increases were only grant requested, and in order to obtain the grant, you have to budget it for it. So we may not have gone out for those grants yet, but if we do, we know we're gonna proposals go forward, we can't accept them unless we have room in the budget.